Good morning, good morning. Great to see all of you guys jumping on this morning. Welcome to another Wealth Coffee Chat. Thursday, the 28th of October. Good to see you. A bit of shout out. Brendan, Alison, Michelle, Stephen, early birds jumping on nice and quick. Great to see all of you guys. Yvonne. Bunch of people on now, which is fabulous. And what is it? Thursday. Thankful Thursday. Terrific Thursday. No, terrific Tuesdays and thankful Thursdays. Well, good to see everyone here. If you're new, give us a shout out in the chat. Say new. Jason Witten's my name. Been hanging out with this cool, crazy crew for a fair while now. Each Monday to Friday. We get together about 8:05, 8:10, between 8:05 and 8:10 each day. And we do a bit of a live chat for about 15 or 20 minutes about the world of property investing. We've got a few sayings around here, a couple of good ones. This thing's a marathon, not a sprint, and buy well, never sell. If we're building our property portfolio, it's not get rich quick. If you're after get rich quick, go find some Bitcoin or something else, dodgy coin or whatever it is, because that's not real estate. Real estate's a slow gig. I think it's a good gig. I'm a fan, and you wouldn't be sitting here watching the show if you weren't interested or a fan of real estate yourself. And what we do, we try and keep on top of things, tune it up, keep it real. Each morning, just a quick shot in the arm to keep ourselves going. So great to see all of you guys here. Give us a shout out in the chat if you're new. Say new. I know there's a bunch of new of our mentoring coaching clients have joined this month, so some of you might be on the call. But bit of a shout out to Nikhil and Simon. Good to see you guys there, and Laura, and Facebook user, the good old Facebook user. So I don't know why it does that. Anyway, there you go. Some of you will remain anonymous for the moment. Good to see you. But hey, listen, I wanted to talk to you about the other types of real estate that in the market that we may see from time to time and what's going on with them. Right now, there's a little bit of an interesting growth, bit of mad growth actually, in this style and type of real estate in the real estate market. And it's not the resi market. Resi market's going quite nice. G'day, Ed. How are you, mate? Thanks for dialing all the way in from New Zealand. Fantastic. How's it over there? Good to see you dialing in for the show this morning. Or might be, is it afternoon? No, it's not afternoon yet, is it, in NZ? So tell me, folks, in the chat right now, if you think you know what type of real estate is going gangbusters right now in the Australian market, and particularly around the fringes of cities. What type of real estate do you think that's gone up 60% in land value in the last 12 or 18 months? Anyone got an idea? Chuck it in the chat for me if you think you know what it might be. Because what often can give us indicators as property investors is what goes on with some of the other types of real estate when it comes to potential some values or some employment hubs or infrastructure, those sorts of things. So maybe chuck it in the chat if you know, have a guess, do your best, and if you don't know, well, I'll put you out of your misery, or I'll let you know what it is in just a second as aspirational real estate's going off. You're dead right, Stephen. Rural real estate's going off too. So let's switch over here and have a little look at this neck of the woods. We'll get ourselves organised in here. And if you guys can see this right now, that says Amazon fulfillment. And the world of online shopping has been insane, pretty crazy over these COVID times. And unless you've been living under a rock, I'm sure many of you, most of you, probably all of you have ordered something Uber Eats, some sort of delivery service, bought online, Uber Eats, etc. Tell me right now in the chat, have your habits changed? A bit of a yes from 2 years ago. For me, I'll tell you a quick story right now. You know, we've got the Uber app and a bunch of other apps, and our behavior, our food and purchasing behavior over the last 2 years has significantly changed. And I believe it is been reinforced, whether we like it or not. It's just a process. I've discovered social waistline, Alison. That's true too. That's true too. How's it been? You know, we've purchased more online food with, Stephen even brought a property online. The world of real estate has now gone fully digital. You know, the inefficiency of Australia Post losing your contract, and the real estate world are going, oh, I need your proper signature and all this, like, it's just archaic rubbish. A huge amount of changes have happened. But what does that mean to us as real estate investors and for the future? You know, it's a good question. What does that mean to us, you know, when it comes to something like Amazon or other things? And I wanted to do some pontificating today. Pontificating, I'm pretty sure that is a word, pontificate. Some wondering, some thinking about the future. But check this out, right? If you have a look at industrial land in certain areas in Melbourne, industrial land has soared 60% in value in a year. 60%, folks. You think residential real estate has gone crazy, right? Industrial land up 60% in 1 year. Think about that. Now, tell me why. You guys tell me right now why. Why do you think this industrial land might be attracting some pretty significant value increases, folks? Let's have a think about what that might be. What do you guys think is going on here? For me, I've got a few thoughts, and I'm seeing a few things happening around that I think we need to pay attention to as property investors coming into the future. Industrial land up 60%, all right? Residential development, warehouse and storage for goods, yep. Matter of fact, a couple of those combos, Bradley, prior to the COVID increases in pricing, those industrial fringes on these cities were actually quite inexpensive and attractive to developers, okay? And if you guys could probably imagine, you know, the developer has to buy the property for a certain price. They have to sell it for a certain price. There has to be a margin or a profit in the middle, and away you go. So when industrial land values go up 60% and construction prices go up 25%, tell me right now in the chat, what do you think? Can now the developers make those developments work? Bradley, if your prices went up 60% and minimum 25 to 30% respectively in your cost of goods to produce real estate, residential real estate, can it work? Boom. No, Bradley, it's a simple one. It's a simple 2-letter answer. No, it can't. Okay. And that's another thing we won't talk about today, but the supply chain. The supply chain is broken for a gazillion reasons why, but we're all going to either benefit or suffer from it, depending on which side of the fence you're on, folks. But let's talk about this. And Alison's on the right track here, the warehouse and storage for goods. Because for many of us, the idea that online shopping and getting access to buying your equipment and your stuff right now at the touch of a button is here to stay. Is here to stay. We've whether we like it or not, we've spent 2 years being reinforced how to buy online, how to find the most efficient way to get things. I don't know about you, but I find it annoying, the thought to have to go to the shop to find something. Like, I can find it in 2 minutes online. I've got about 10 retailers that I like trust for my stuff, and I'm boom, done. And, you know, within a week it's here, or within a day it's here, as we go. But there's a thing called the last mile. And does anyone know what the last mile means in this space? Chuck it in the chat if you do. If you don't know what the last mile means, in the idea of delivering that thing that you or me might have purchased, you or I, you or me, that's not the right English. So you or I may have purchased the last mile of delivery, and it's metaphorical. It's not actually the last mile, folks, by the way. The last mile of delivery is the most expensive when it comes to getting an item. All right, and in logistics, this is the thing that's hot on the topic, hot on the radar, the agenda for these big companies, Amazon, Kogan, you name it. You know, which of these large companies around the world now are logistics companies that are now supplying this new reinforced created behavior. And what does that mean to us as property investors? What does it mean to us in the future? That's what I want you to think about today. That's why I said we're going to do some wondering today, a bit of an idea today. You know, have a bit of a look at this. So quickly show you a little scribble, basically. But hey, listen. This one above, actually, I'll use this. This is the factory where the thing is created, and let's just say it is pens. Okay, pen. That's a Apple iPad pen, but you get the picture. So in the factory, we might be able to create, 1,000 pens, and those 1,000 pens go in one box. They're in one box. They get put on a ship or an aeroplane, and they go wherever they need to go. So let's just say those ships or pens were in Vietnam, and it comes from Vietnam to Sydney or Brisbane, one of the ports in Australia. So it comes to a port, and at that port, then it sends it off to the other places, which might be Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Perth, Darwin, Canberra, etc. Okay? So now it's broken up into, call it 7. Okay, so we break it into 7. I'm going to call it 10 because that makes my math easier. So now we have to send 100 of these things to each of these locations, and it's probably different balances of where we're at. So we have to send 100 pens to each of those locations, and then from those locations, it now has to be taken as one single pen, the last mile to the customer. Okay? Now, as a percentage of expense to get that one pen, this one pen to the customer, the last mile, is the most expensive part. And all of the logistics people are trying to solve that problem with technology and bits and pieces, okay? So it's pretty interesting. Australia post-cut their services but increased their costs. Went from there. Well, there you go, Alison. And it is certainly a time of transformation, and probably well overdue, to be honest, of old technologies and systems and functions in our social system that were really dysfunctional, that were really like shit house, basically. Let's face it, in real estate, I can tell you right now, the idea that you couldn't do electronic signatures for contracts was just archaic. And you had to have this stupid big thing with print out, a contract this thick that you destroy a tree every time you friggin' print out a contract. What a brain dead process in our society, right? And the only reason that got changed is because of the COVID issue. And I think there were some very good things from that pressure. There's some shit things as well, but, you got to see it for what it is. So the idea we're trying to solve this last mile in the industrial, commercial, logistics world gives us some inside info potentially to have a look at what's happening in the future. How do we build our properties well in the future? What might be interesting to be near or understand or be visible for in the future, or maybe even stay away from in the future when we come as we go. So Alison's on that, all over it right now, which is, where I'm headed with this conversation today. Autonomous vehicles, self-driving cars. We don't need a person. Drones. I'll tell you a little story about that in a minute. Delivery trucks and whatever it might be. And I don't know what Amazon Flex is, so maybe if someone knows what Amazing Flex is or Amazon Flex is, let me know. All right. There you go. Michelle is, yeah, exactly. Well, it's an interesting one, Michelle, isn't it? Imagine this, folks. Imagine you had some land in your own home. This kind of like, think of it this way. Like what piece of infrastructure or value, so what is something that you have, a car, a caravan, some space in your shed, some storage, something that you could, Airbnb. You can imagine Airbnb out your shed, Michelle, to a drone company that needs a little, semi-quasi distribution center near your house. Like, who knows? Who knows? And these are the things I like. Today's a bit about sort of thinking and wondering, what is the future like in this stuff? Because then there's all opportunities in and around that space, right? Imagine that stuff. So there you go. You never know. Yes, Uber's the answer. But one of the things that I did want to show you today was that it's already happening right now, and it's been happening for a while. I don't know. Alison mentioned the air taxis for Brisbane. Well, there was an air taxi, a drone taxi, ready to go in Melbourne. It was almost ready to go. COVID hit and we had some challenges. But check this out, right? Already over the last year or two, this is a while ago, in Logan in Queensland and also in Canberra and Logan in Queensland, you have been able to participate in a drone delivery. I'll put that up here. Drone delivery, and you can get your coffee dropped off and roast chickens. Crazy. So basically, I'm sitting at home. I get my phone like this. I go, right, I want a chicken. And it comes in the drone and lands at your house. It's already happening, folks. Think about that when it comes to the future of real estate. How does that affect us as property investors? Will your future rentals need to be within drone distance of these areas, because that's what people want for their investing in the future? The future renter doesn't want to have to leave the house to get a damn barbecue chicken. And if they run out of milk, they don't have to. Thinking about that. So it's here. It's already being tested and integrated. This last mile, this last concept for us as property investors. What does that mean for us and our properties into the future? This last mile delivery is quite interesting. What other opportunities do we have to understand what it might mean. So I thought I'd sort of talk through that one today because it's always, yeah, exactly. Alison. Parent jokes, Alison. That's good. So there you go. Wondering about this stuff. What do you guys think? Do you think there's something in this for us as property investors? You know, things to consider. I think there is. Certainly from a logistics point of view, we won't want to miss out. We won't want to be outside of those logistics future hubs and areas for that convenience in the future, I reckon. So anyway, there you go. Well, that's it. Wealth Coffee Chat done today. I thought that would be interesting to talk about. Drones, autonomous cars, delivery of food and infrastructure and stuff. You know, where's it all going? Well, it's certainly the understatement of the century. Interesting time, folks. Interesting time. All right, Wealth Coffee Chat done. You guys be awesome. Be well. Stay safe wherever you are. And join me tomorrow for another Wealth Coffee Chat around about the same time. Be good, folks.